Hello everyone, welcome to my video today. Today I have an adorable little cupcake box to share with you. This one is kind of fancy, I think. It has some double angled sides, which I think make it really cute and fancy. And when you open it up, you pull up one side, then you pull up another side, and you have a little Hostess cupcake in there. We're using the Mediterranean Blooms DSP as well as the Citrus Blooms bundle, which is such a fantastic bundle. So when I saw these orange Hostess cupcakes in my local grocery store, I knew that I had to grab these. Now, I don't think I've ever seen orange, so I'm not sure if these are a limited time only product. So if you can't find the orange one, any other Hostess cupcake will work as perfectly. So I'm going to pull this out. Thought the orange one was perfect for, of course, our little citrus orange theme here. So this is the box we're making. Now, if this box looks familiar, I have made a version of this box, and I will link to that in my blog post, and you can head to my blog post for more pictures and details on this box in the video description of this video, and there I'll have a link to the original one that I made. And I basically just copied the same exact measurements. I didn't reinvent the wheel here. There's no need to. This box was perfect as it is. So I'm just going to show you how to make this box again, and then if you want to see the original version, you can absolutely head to that link. Now, if you are shopping for online products or for Stampin' Up! Products, please head to my online store. I would love to be the demonstrator who helps you out. When you shop for products in my online store, you get a PDF with 3 exclusive projects. If your order is over $50 or more, you're going to get a make and take kit that coordinates with that. And I really appreciate that. Every little order really helps my business grow, and it really helps me out. So really appreciate that. And if you like this video, make sure that you subscribe to my channel. That way you never miss another video. If you love this sweet, by the way, I have another project. Oops, let me take that Post-it note off. I have another project that I've shared recently using the same bundle and paper, and this one has a little trident gum in there too. So if you love this one, check out this one. Maybe you saw this one and you're coming back for this one. So either way, thank you so much for joining me. Let's jump into the project. So we're going to start with the box. I'm using Lemon Lolly for my cardstock here, and you're going to need a piece that is 6.5 by 6.5, and I have my Simply Scored out here. And let me see if I can zoom out just a little bit. Maybe we can just get the whole sheet on there. There we go. Okay, so 6.5 by 6.5. We're going to score at 1 3/4 on all 4 sides. So 1 3/4. Just go around all 4 sides there. And that is it. Whoops, I think I jumped the track there. Oh, did it again. Hold on. I'm trying to rush. I'm going to flip this over and try to push that one back in, that little messed up one. It's not going to matter too much. I'm not going to worry about it, but, you know, we all jump the track. It happens. All right, so that's our cardstock piece. That's our Lemon Lolly. Now you're going to need 2 pieces of DSP. Now I've already done one, so I'm only going to show you this on one, but you're going to need 2 pieces of DSP, so make sure that you do the same exact thing to both of them. I'm using 2 different patterns. So I have this beautiful Night of Navy one, and then the orange one. The Citrus or the Mediterranean Blooms DSP has some amazing patterns. So you can check that out if you love this one. All right, you're going to need a piece of DSP that is 6.5 by 5 3/8. And so you'll need 2 pieces, and you can do them the same DSP. That would be fine. I like the contrasting colors, but you'll just need 2 of them, and you're going to score them in the exact same way. So on the 5 3/8 inch side, you're going to score it at 5/8. So that's 1 line past 1/2 inch. And you're going to score it at 2 3/8. So that's 1 line before 1/2 inch. And then you're going to turn it to the 6.5 inch side, and you're going to score it at 1 3/4. And then you're going to turn it all the way around and score it at 1 3/4 again. Okay. Now, as I'm scoring this, I'm realizing that this pattern is going to be a little bit tricky to see, so bear with me as we try to maneuver through this one. I might flip it over and do the other side. So we're going to burnish on all of these score lines. Now, when you're scoring and burnishing on DSP, just be a little bit more gentle with the, where's that line? Here it is. Be a little bit more gentle with DSP because it's not as thick as cardstock, so it could break or tear easier. So I'm going to flip it to my lemon side here to see my lines. And then we'll burnish them on the correct side. There we go. All right, we're going to do a little bit of trimming. Now the DSP is the tricky part of the trimming. It's not it's not hard, but you just have to kind of think about it a little bit so you don't do it incorrectly. And I'm actually going to cut it on this side because I can see my lines better on this side than I can on this side. So I'm going to cut it on this side, and I'm actually going to bring in my completed one to show you how I did this one. Now, if you actually look at this one and the one that I did, that I compared my projects to, you'll notice that I cut these tabs differently, these little triangle tabs differently. It doesn't matter. You can cut them the way that I did it on my original project or this one. They both work exactly the same way, as I found out when I cut them, and I went, oh wait, that doesn't look right, but it works the same way. So I'm going to start with that 5/8 tab down here. So we have that 5/8 tab here. We have that 5/8 tab here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim that at an angle just opposite of those score lines, just like that. And then we're going to cut up that score line to the next score line right there. Okay. All right, now I'm going to get out, you can get out a trimmer, or you can get out long scissors, whatever you want. So we're going to do a little bit of trimming. So I'm going to fold this piece. So I have my 5/8 tab here. I'm going to fold this piece back here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut from this score line down to this score line. So I'm going to trim this area right here. So actually I'm going to do it this way because I can see my score line better on this side. So I'm going to line up my score line there. And you know what? This is what I'm going to grab a pencil and I'm going to mark these lines because I am having trouble seeing this one too. Okay, right there. And right there. Okay, and we can erase those lines. Okay, so I'm going to line up that little mark I made down to this score line and give it a little trim. So you're left with that little triangle. We're going to do the same over here. So that score line, there we go. Perfect. Now before we put the paper trimmer away, I want to cut from this point that we just made, so that mark, up to this score line here. So I'm going to line that up with that score line there, with that point there, and you're going to end up with this angle here. So I hope you can see that. I hope you can see that. And I'll show you on the other pattern too exactly what we did. Okay, so that's it with that little paper trimmer. And again, if you have long scissors, you can do that. I just never cut super straight, and so I just want to make sure these were nice straight lines because these are the angles that you're going to see on the box here. And so I like for those to be nice and crisp and straight. And I don't think that these little pencil lines are going to be shown, so I don't think it matters too much to erase them, but I'm going to do that anyway. Okay, so this is what you're left with, and let's see if you can see those score lines better here. So you can see how we cut directly from that score line down to this score line. And so when this goes together like this, you'll have that nice crisp edge. So I hope that makes sense. And so the other one's going to go in the same way. So you're going to end up with two pieces that look like this when we assemble them. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to use some Stampin' Seal Plus. I'm going to use some strong adhesive, and I am only going to put adhesive on these smaller triangles. So if that's the side that had that 5/8 inch line here, so those are the smaller ones. I'm going to do that on the outside for the pattern you want, and then we're just going to line up that score line with this edge right here. Okay, do the same thing on this side. Perfect. And we'll do this one as well. Just a little adhesive. Use a nice strong adhesive for your boxes because that'll really help everything stay together. The last thing you want is to hand a box over and to somebody who you know will love it, and then the box falls apart. So use a nice strong adhesive. Okay, so we have our little pieces here. They look like little scoops, or however you want to describe it. All right, now let's pull back in that lemon lolly that we scored. Now this one we'll be able to trim much easier, and this one actually goes together much easier because we're just making your regular box here. Fold and burnish on all 4 of those score lines. Because this is a square, it doesn't matter where you start. Just cut up one side, and then we're going to notch in. These little tabs are going to go inside the box. Don't worry about these. They're not going to be seen. Don't worry about making them straight and perfect. Again, go up this side and cut that and trim that. I like to trim the outsides too, so that when you put it together, nothing hangs over the edge. All right, so we did that to one side. We're going to do the same to the other. It's kind of the rule for boxes. What you do to one side, do the exact same to the other. There are a few exceptions to that rule, but for the most part, when you are making boxes, that's pretty much what you want to do. All right, and one last little trim here. Okay, perfect. Let's get all of those scraps out of the way, move all that trash. All right, this is what your box should look like. We're gonna put some adhesive on here. Again, I'm using super strong adhesive, and I'm making sure to put a line of adhesive right next to that score line, because that's what's going to be right next to the edge here. So we want to make sure that that edge is nice and secure. So I'm going to fold that tab. That score line should line up with this edge, just like that. We're going to do that all the way around. Okay. And that will assemble your box. Easy peasy, right? There's your little box. Let's make sure that all of that adhesive is nice and burnished down. Perfect. All right, let's get our little side pieces on. Now, because again, this is a square box, so it doesn't matter which side you do. I like to do it on the sides that have the little tabs. We're going to adhere these like this. I like to do that. And for this, I'm going to use some liquid glue because I like to make sure that my box, that it's securely on there. And then I'm going to use some liquid glue. This is a nice strong glue, our Tombow. And I'm just going to fold that over just like that. And you can even open it up on the inside and just make sure that it's nice and burnished down. And that'll go on just like that. Perfect. So let's do the same thing on this one. This one will go right on top, just like that. And we'll put a little bit of adhesive on here. Now you can use tear and tape or add the adhesive beforehand too. That would be fine. All right, so that is nice and secure on there. Perfect. So we have our little box ready to go. Now I do want to cover up this bottom because as you can see, that doesn't look so pretty. And I want my bottom of my box to look just as pretty as the top. So I have a piece of Lemon Lolly that is 2 7/8 by 2 7/8. It's just going to be 1/8 of an inch smaller. And that's just going to be to place over the back there. So some strong adhesive on this. That, and then we'll just place this over our little tabs, and that will also further help secure them in place. And then we can open up our box. Everything really good burnish. Make sure everything is nice and secure. Grab one of our little cupcakes, and it should fit perfectly in that little box. Fold up this side, that side. Isn't that cute? Now what you do from here is up to you. Now you can really decorate this to your heart's desire. We're going to do a little bit of stamping and coloring for this. I'm going to bring this one in so we know what we're doing. So let's do some stamping. Let me move this out of the way. So I have a piece of white, and we're going to stamp this, the little orange here. There's a couple different options in here. This really big one, and then this one, I'm using this one. And we're also going to use this hello greeting from in here. And the dies are pretty spectacular for this bundle, so make sure you check that out. There's a link to shop it in my video description, so you can check that out. I'm going to use Stampin' Blends to color this. I'm just going to stamp this with Memento. And I'm going to stamp this up in the corner to conserve cardstock, so I can get as many of these on here as I want or need. So let me put that aside, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit for the coloring. Okay, I'm going to use, for the orange, I'm going to use light and dark pumpkin pie, and then I'm going to use light peach pie. So I'm going to start with my dark, oops, wrong side. I want to use my brush side. This is a kind of a large image, so I want to use my brush side to start it. I'm going to start with my brush and my dark pumpkin pie, and I'm going to carefully go around all of these. If you want to use the bullet tip to go around them, whatever you're most comfortable with, I'm just going around these little images, these little like pieces very carefully. Now down here where all this shading is, I'm going to try to fill that in with the dark, and then the same right here. Be careful of that, those leaves right there. And I'm not going to go all the way around in a full circle there. I'm going to leave kind of a gap on the bottom there. And then where there's extra shading here, I'm just going to kind of dot that. Okay. A little bit more dark right there. All right. So I'm going to put my dark pumpkin pie away. I'm going to bring in my light pumpkin pie. And I'm going to use the brush tip for this as well. And I'm just going to go small circles around that dark area and just try to blend that out. And I'll fill in this little gap down here. And I'm not going to fill in the rest of that circle just yet. I'm just going to make sure all of this is nice and blended because I want this part to be like the lightest part. So once that's all nice and blended, I'm done with my pumpkin pie light and we'll switch to peach pie. This is one of our new in colors. And I'm just going to go over this area real quick. Just make sure these areas are blending and just kind of blend that just a little bit. And that is it for my orange. Super simple, quick and easy, right? All right, now for my leaves, I have Old Olive, light and dark. And I'm only going to show a couple of leaves. We're not going to color the whole image. I have another one already die cut ready to go. But for the top of the leaf, I'm going to do dark. And I went with the DSP. I was just kind of following what the DSP did. You can see they do have it like darker and then lighter. So I'll do dark on the top and then light on the bottom. Just make sure to blend that out. And then just work your way toward the bottom, just like that. And you can do all of your leaves the exact same way. For the little flowers, I used Lemon Lolly, light and dark. So for the flowers, I just gave them a quick wash of color with the light Lemon Lolly. I didn't even go all the way to the edges. And then for the center, I went in with my dark Lemon Lolly, just did a quick little wash of color and then just a little bit on each petals. So nothing fancy for that. And then for the, oh, here it is. I was like, where did that go? For the stems, I have number 200. I think this is in the Natural Tones Dark, and I'm just going to use my bullet tip there, and that will just be quick to do that stem. And so that is how I colored my image. You'll want to do all of the pieces exactly the same way. And then when you're done coloring it, you're going to die cut it, and you'll have this. So let's zoom back out just a little bit. Perfect. So you'll die cut it, you'll end up with that. All right, I've also die cut a circle from the Stylish Shapes dies, and this will go right on top of that, and that's going to help it pop off of that background even more. Okay, now let's talk about our greeting. So we're going to be ready to assemble that. So let's talk about our greeting. I have that Hello Greeting from the stamp set. Get this out of the way. And so we're going to stamp that in pumpkin pie, and then we're going to die cut it. And this one I didn't die cut in advance because I want to show you guys what I did. So I stamped hello in, you know what, I'm going to do that because I have a little line on that. Let's do that again. Stamped hello, there we go, in pumpkin pie. Put that aside. And my die here, my little label, is from the Autumn Leaves dies. You can get this in my online store. I'm going to use this long one, but it's a little too long, but I like the height of it. So see what we did there? So I'm going to grab some tape here, some washi tape. So I'm going to line it up on one side, kind of exactly where I want it. And I'm going to tape that down so it doesn't move. And I'm going to do this on my small cut and emboss machine. You can do this with your larger one too. We're going to do some kind of partial die cutting here. So I'm going to put my plate down. And I'm going to run this through. We're going to cut out this whole thing all together. And you're like, well, that die isn't even on the whole paper, but that's okay. That part doesn't matter. We're not too worried about that. Let me move this out of the way a little bit. So I'm going to pull off, you know, that piece. We don't need that piece. I'm going to pull off my tape, and we're going to pull this off. And what we're going to do is we're going to reposition this on this side to where we want that to end. And with this die, there's like little dots in that die. You can kind of feel it click into place. So they're going to kind of line up with the other ones. And once you have that, I'm going to put my tape on again to hold it in place. We're going to run it through again. So we're just making a smaller label here. So we're going to die cut it this way. And we will be all done. So let me put my plates away. We move my machine out of the way. And I'll show you exactly what we did. So we just took this longer label. I'll pull off my tape. Hopefully I don't rip my cardstock. I shouldn't have put it over my greeting, but that's okay. We're okay. There we go. So I just made it a smaller greeting. We just cut one side, we can just reposition it, and you can see the holes are all lined up. You can really feel it kind of click into place when you're maneuvering with it. So use that trick for other labels that you have. All right, so now we're ready to assemble this whole thing. So I'm gonna grab dimensionals, of course. No box is complete without dimensionals. I'm gonna put a few on the back of our orange piece. Peel off the backings of that. And I'm gonna stick this onto my Night of Navy circle. And I have the stem kind of going off to the right a little bit. And I'm gonna pull one more dimensional, and I'm actually gonna put this right onto my Night of Navy piece. And that way I ensure that no adhesive is hanging off where it's not supposed to. We're just gonna put that hello right there. And we will put some more dimensionals on the back of this piece. And we are ready to put this onto our box. So I'm going to just place this on, and what I am lining up straight is my label here. I'm making sure my label's straight. I'm not worried about my orange. That can be tilted, it doesn't matter. I'm just making sure that label is straight. All right, now to finish it off, these are the opal rounds, and these come in the suite. So if you love the DSP, if you love the stamp set, I would recommend just getting the entire suite of products in this Mediterranean Blooms suite, because the opal rounds also come with it. And so here's the entire suite. So you're gonna get the stamp set, the dies, the gorgeous dies, so many dies in here, the opal rounds, and the DSP. You can get that all for $83. So it's a great value. You're gonna get all of this. We're using the entire suite of products on this sweet little box here. So, all right, now this one, you can see I used the little Night of Navy dots, but for this one, you got my take your pick tool. I think we're gonna go with these kind of lemon lolly ones. I guess they're lemon lolly-ish. And then you can tell me which ones you prefer. And I got some of that putty stuck on there. There we go. And a little bit more here. And I'll do one more big one down here. Okay, so 3 of those. So I think that the Night of Navy ones stand out, but I think that these kind of glitter a little bit more. So I don't know. You'll have to let me know. Do you prefer the Night of Navy dots or those lemon lolly ones on this box? All right, and that completes our box. If you wanted to add anything else to this, you could absolutely add some ribbon. You can add some sparkle with Wink of Stella, but I think it's pretty perfect the way it is. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Remember, this holds a little Hostess Cupcake, orange cupcake for our Citrus Blooms bundle. Thank you guys so much for joining me. If you like this video, please make sure to subscribe to my channel. There is a supply list in the video description, along with a link to my blog, where you're going to find the link to the original box that I made, that I copied, as well as pictures and everything else. So head to my blog if you want to get more details on anything. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.